Hello, everybody. Welcome to your Schmoe. As you can see, hang on, let me restart. I forgot our intro. We are a European and South African based European after show. Sorry, I got a little bit excited. As you can see, we are a little bit underhanded today, or sorry, uh, less hands on board today. It's just me and thank goodness for Luke, who could join me tonight. So we are going to talk Schmoedown. Hey Ryan, how are you doing? Good to see you. Uh, shall we get on with the show? How are you, Luke?
I'm doing very well. If y'all must know for information, we had Matt from Euroschmo on our show yesterday. We did a live stream for 4 hours for the DC Fandom event. It got broken up into two parts by accident, not on purpose. It was supposed to be one big event, and we got shut down by YouTube because we showed too much of the event. So we got shut down the stream. I had to recreate it. So we had a part two, and I did not mean for us to have a part two.
Well,
It
fair
it
enough.
was crazy.
Wow.
It was
We better
fun. It
watch
was
out for.
fun.
Yeah, I heard a lot about it. It sounds really awesome. Uh, I will, as I've said to Luke, I couldn't catch it on the live, but definitely watch the replay as I will tonight, and everyone catch Luke's replay. And shall we get into the Schmoedown week, Luke?
The one that didn't happen, or oh wait, there were matches. Never mind.
I mean, the first match was very, very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Damon Civil War, Molly Damon versus Alex Damon. Uh, I think it kind of went how everybody predicted it would go. Um, but I think, okay, for me personally, Molly Damon showed that she has what it takes to be a future champ if she wants to carry on in the league. Um, she seemed to take Alex down to almost to the wire with her answering of questions, especially round one. Um, round two, that miss that she made with the Jin Urso question was a bit of a slight. I mean, it was a bit of a wish she hadn't missed that one, but hey, Alex missed it too and had plenty of time to get it as well. What did you think, Luke?
I thought this was a great match. I actually felt like this match should have been on Friday. I think you should have had the Dan Murrell Lon Harris match on Wednesday. I think you do your teams match first because even though this is just a Star Wars match, it's a big match. It's the Damons. It's Damon versus Damon. I think there should have been more hype on this one because it was a good match.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a really good match. Yeah, it ended how everyone assumed, but I felt, especially with this week, I mean, I made the joke at the beginning that the week didn't feel as jam packed. I mean, it wasn't as many matches, but it didn't feel as big. But I feel like if you had had the Damon match at the end of the week, then that's what everybody'd be talking about. I thought the match was really good. Me and Eli did a reaction to it on our channel. We normally will record our Wednesday like Schmoedown reaction on Monday before our show because I can only be with him on Monday because he does all his other shows late at night, so I can't really react with him. But it was it was a good match. I am
hmm.
more excited actually for the match tomorrow than I was for this
Hmm.
match. That match tomorrow is going to be.
So
I would. Oh yeah, go ahead.
so why is that? Is that just because you didn't feel hyped for Damon v Damon? Is there?
I was hyped for Damon v Damon. I actually really was, but for some reason, I right now Alex Damon is playing good, but he's not at the level he was. I personally think he probably should have sat out this tournament. Take some time away.
Really?
Yeah, I would have, because for him, he was on top for so long, and he's had a hard season, especially since his focus was on Inner Geekdom as well. So his focus was
Mm.
divided for so long that I probably would have off a season this tournament. And yes, it helps the stars. I mean, it really does. But I think in the long run, it's going to hurt Damon's legacy, because if he doesn't win this tournament, he looks bad. And he's had a weird year this year. So I would have held him for, and I don't know if the stars really had anyone else Star Wars wise. What? Oh, yep. It had been 5 months since Alex played in Star Wars, though. Uh, I really enjoyed the match itself. Made me somehow uneasy. Well, all right. So Leo, do you know when his last Inner Geekdom match was? Because I think that's really important as well. I do not remember. It
Uh,
might have been before then.
that was, I think, March or April. If Leo can correct me, but yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, I agree with you as well. Oh, hey, Shug.
Hey, Shug.
Shug just knows when to
How's
pop
it?
in.
I hope the tournament's going well. Sugar's in a tournament, and
Nice.
Magic the tournament. I hope it's going well with him. So yeah.
Okay. So April. Well, that was. Well, I don't know. I mean, I do think that the match was good. I think kind of how Thomas is saying, kind of how Ryan's saying, Alex needs to tighten up.
Mm.
And here's the thing: Alex is Alex Damon. He's always going to be one of the champions. He's one of the best players in the game. No one wants to play against Alex Damon and expect an easy match. It's just, I think Demolanta really put him down a couple pegs this season.
Fair enough. I mean, he has defended that belt 5 times, which is, or was it 4 times? 4 or 5 times, which is more than anyone else has defended a single belt. Um, like a lone belt that wasn't in teams. So you got to give him props there. I don't think one tournament would necessarily ruin his legacy. I think it would maybe certainly give whoever beats him a notch up and give them kind of the let's say he loses to Gold Leader or Laura Kelly, that would make anyone else scary for who.
Yeah, but let me say this though: if you saw at like, I think the problem with the Schmoedown, and I think everyone can kind of agree with this, the Schmoedown is really bad about what have you done for me lately. We really struggle with looking at legacies. We really struggle at looking at stuff because it's, what have you done for me lately? What was your last match you won? What was the last thing big you did? And
Mm.
I mean, look at Ben Bateman. Ben Bateman is a champion, but he's had 2 really bad seasons, and everybody's kind of looking down on him. But he's only had a few bad matches. But it's basically, what have you done for me lately, Riley?
Well, yeah. I to be honest with you, I see where you're coming from because everyone says the same about Oyama, but I mean he played lights out again in his first match. I think it was against William Bibiani. And then he was in the number one contenders match against Ethan Irwin, and then suddenly he's had a bad year.
Yeah.
Which personally I don't think he has. He's had some brilliant teams matches. Yes, he's lost 2 matches in teams that have been crucial, and it's now the end of final exam. But I mean, he's had a pretty okay year. He won the free for all, beat William Bibiani quite soundly. So, I mean, personally, I think I agree with you. This "what have you done for me lately" thing is a bit of a frustration, especially like Matt and I were talking earlier this week, and we were saying how let's say, for example, Sam Levine is the only um, person to have defended both singles and teams belts at the same time while holding both belts, and yet no one puts him on Mount Rushmore.
I think it's due to at that time. It's honestly due to the fact of where the Schmoedown was back then, and
Probably.
when Sam left. I think that was the biggest problem. Sam left in a very interesting way. And I think that was the sad part about it. I think that's what hurt Sam's legacy was the way he left. He didn't stick around long enough. And so that's what really hurt a lot of people's image. I actually was in Schmoedown during Sam's reign. I came in around Corruption era, a little bit before Corruption era. I came in. Do you remember the big shakeup with DC Movie News?
No.
When DC Movie News lost to the Action Guys.
Oh yes, yeah.
That was the biggest. That was a big split. That was a big breakup. And I came in because I was actually watching DC Movie News and Marvel Movie News. Those were my two favorite shows on YouTube at that time. So I started watching them, and then on DC Movie News, there was just this big like drama going on. And I'm like, what is going on? I don't know what's happening. And I'd kind of heard about the Schmoedown because I'd started to lean a little bit more towards Collider a bit, but I didn't really know what the Schmoedown was. So I came in, and I honestly wasn't even planning on getting into the Schmoedown, but I just wanted to know what the drama was going on with DC Movie News. And and speaking of that in a way, I think the reason why we're having such a problem this past few seasons on What Have You Done For Me Lately is there's way too many matches. I mean, way too many matches and too many competitors right now. Because if like what I'd forgotten how long it's been since Alex played. And that's because we've just had so many matches and there's just not been any time in between.
Yeah. True.
Hey Ben, I think I can't hear you.
Can you not? Sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can't. Ask the chat. Chat, can y'all hear Ben?
Can you hear me now?
Ben, try and talk. Oh, okay. It's on my end. It's on my end. Okay. I don't know what happened. Sorry, for some reason it just disconnected or something. I don't know what happened.
Alright, no worries. Okay. I'm gonna put this back in. Okay. Is it connected again?
Let me leave the studio and come right back.
Okay, cool. So yes, let me just carry it on. So yeah, unfortunately, Molly Damon, for me, unfortunately, Molly Damon lost to Alex. She played really, really well. Thanks everyone for confirming that my audio is fine. Yeah, look, I honestly feel like she played like a champ. The challenge, which I'll get into with Luke when he comes back, was a fantastic challenge from Witt's standpoint. I mean, it gave time for oh, here we go. Sorry. So
sorry about that.
No worries. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Cool. So I started talking back again. I went back to the match. So what did you think of the challenge?
Oh, I thought it was a good challenge. I think it was honestly a pretty smart challenge, but in the end of the day, it didn't help.
True. I think in a way it did though, because it allowed Alex to kind of be put onto the back foot by given so much time to think about his answer, maybe doubt himself a little bit.
Yeah, I think I thought it was good. I am curious to see this whole storyline with Wit and the dungeon.
Hmm.
That's been interesting. Like
It
what
it's
like do you think it was smart that Wit managed this past match?
um considering it was a Star Wars match, and do you mean in terms of gameplay or in terms of storyline?
In gameplay, more gameplay. I actually understand it in gameplay a lot. I Where do you think the storyline is headed?
So for me, the storyline is headed. Remember last week I said they're going to. The reason why they gave, in my opinion, the reason why they gave Chandra the uh, belt was so that they could do the split of the factions. I think this is where this is headed as well. They're going to do a split of the factions. Um, Wit will get half of the dungeon, and um, uh, Kaiser will get the other half. Maybe Wit will get the lovable losers or something like that.
I like that name, Lovable Losers. I like the name.
Where do you think it's going?
I do see a split, but I don't know. I think you're. Uh, Let me ask you this: do you think a manager is leaving after this season?
I think one or two might. I think Kate might.
I think Kate might.
Look, I don't want to give too much speculation into, because I don't know the behind the scenes personally. I think Kate might leave at some point. Um, what do you think?
Sorry, for some reason I've lost sound again. I don't know what's going on with my computer.
Okay,
There we go. There we're good. We're good. We're good.
cool.
It just doesn't like me
So
today. I don't know what's going on. You ever
doesn't
have
like
those
those
days?
earphones. I have had a lot of them.
I'm just happy it didn't happen yesterday on the live show. I'm like, ooh,
Oh,
we had
that
enough
would have been
issues.
horrible.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and I feel like we've kind of talked the Star Wars match pretty well. Let's go ahead and move on to the
Yeah, we
next
have.
match.
So, let's see. Move over, old guard. It's press room time. So, what? So this match was press room versus old guard. Um, Press room beat old guard. Uh, they were looking at a TKO situation at one point, but old guard kind of maneuvered their way out of that situation. Um, so I think this was an interesting match because a lot of us thought that that old guard would win. I
Yeah.
think it was just you and Liam that thought that Prestrom would win, if I'm correct.
Well, my reasoning on why I felt Press Room was going to end up winning was due to the fact of Riley has just not been in it. I mean, Riley's great, but I just don't think he's putting in the work that he used to put in. He's not had good seasons, and I'm sad about that. Riley's one of my favorite people to watch, and he has such a joy, and I think he might do other things, but honestly, I am not going to put in. I might put some bets on Roka's last match might be against Riley for retirement.
Mm. So, what do you think? Now that we're talking about it, I can go back to Ryan's earlier question. With respect to Riley, think he retires?
Yeah, I do. I do. I think Riley's done. Riley to me, I mean, Riley's great. I love Riley. Riley, the past season, 2 seasons, just have started to. I think he started to run dry. I mean,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I hate to say that. I really do. And if anyone else disagrees with me, type in the chat that you disagree and why you disagree, because I am curious other people's opinion on this, because I know Riley is. I mean, Riley's the Schmoedown. I mean, there's literally a award with his name, but I'm afraid that Riley's done. He just doesn't have the fire that he once did.
So my personal argument against that would be every time I've seen him play this year, I've seen a fire, not quite the same fire that I've seen in players like Paige Fabretti, but certainly a fire that I never saw 2 seasons ago, for example. And I sort of, there's sort of been this, like he might seem like he's out of it, or he's not fit to be playing. I mean, maybe it's another example of the "what have you done for me lately" sort of thing again for me. So I sort of feel like every time I see him, he has this fire where he just wants to keep playing. But if he wants to retire, then I hope he has a good retirement, and I hope we'll see him again sometime soon if he does retire.
Well, here's something too I'm gonna say. I think this is something the Schmoedown needs, and this is weird to say this, but right now, what the Schmoedown is needing to do is create characters. They're needing to get players over with the fans.
Hmm,
And honestly, the reasons and yes, the rookies are starting to get over with the fans, but I think where Christian needs to start getting the fans and or the new rookies and new people involved is he's got to start getting them on his shows. He need not just the he needs to get them on the big thing, like weekly, regularly. Like, hey, we're gonna get this rookie on once every month or twice every month. Get these players in view of people to like the players, to get to fall in
hmm,
love with the people. The reason why I joined the Schmoedown was not for the trivia. I joined because of Mike Kalinowski, because of Roxy, because of the DC movie news. Also, I stayed for because of Coy was in it as well, and he was with Marvel movie news. These people
hmm,
had shows that I liked their shows, so I liked them. These rookies do not have their place. Like, I love Gold Leader. I think Gold Leader is incredible. Gold Leader is only on an after show. He's not on the main show. And that's where a lot of these rookies are at. They're all on after shows or they're going making the rounds on after shows, but they're only showing up on backstage. And backstage is great, but backstage is not you're not getting their personality. You're getting your Schmoedown personality.
hmm.
He needs to get them on like the big thing. I think sometimes they get them on Collider a lot, or I mean SCN Live. Sometimes I've been struggling with. I've been struggling with. Sorry, could you say that again? Wow, I've had a day. I I've not really been. My watch was going off. It was the Siri. It went off, but
Fair enough.
I I feel like I've kind of been out of SEN Live when it moved to. I struggle with Twitch. It's just personal. I watch Schmoedown and different stuff on my phone, and so I struggle with Twitch. But
Hmm,
I think he needs to start getting them on the big thing. I think that's where he needs to start because you need to fall in love with the person. I think right now the reason why everybody is loving Marisol, it's not just because of how good she is, because she's good, but they love the person. She has such a heart. She's very caring. She's loving, and people see that. So I think Christian needs to start getting them over on not just the Schmoedowns mega fans. Because all right, people who's watching this show, people who are watching my show, they're mega fans. They're gonna show up no matter what. They're gonna be with the Schmoedown and be there every time they have a match, no matter what. That's not the people he needs to get over. It's the people who are watching the big thing just because, oh, I want to try this thing out. What is this? And then they can fall in love with these people and then go, oh, what is this Schmoedown thing? I'm curious. All right. Thomas
hmm.
said, okay, so Thomas started because of trivia. Okay. Watch all the
Yeah,
shows like this
so
and just don't have the time.
a lot of people I know have joined because of the trivia. I
Mm,
joined because it was a trivia game show. I stayed because of the storylines,
mm,
and because the player that I thought was very interesting, Liz Shannon Miller,
mm.
um, was going on a run in the tournaments. Um, so that's why I started watching, and that's why I stayed. I know a lot of people come for the stories. Uh, I just want to first touch on the last bit of this match. What did you think of the press room versus the old guard? Then I'll go back to the discussion of the storylines.
Okay. Honestly, it was a good match. I mean, they both were playing great. I think it was a good. The old guard was really good. I think Riley played really well. He did have his struggles. Um, Duralde played incredible.
Hmm.
Duralde Duralde scares me with how his knowledge. I mean, he really does. He is that good. If he understood the game, and I think he's still struggling with that. If he was
Mm,
in it and was fully invested, like this is what I want to do. If he was like a Ben Bateman, Duralde would be a champion
yeah.
because he's that scary. But I, I don't know. I was a little disappointed. I know this was shot before the New York event. So that was
Hmm.
interesting seeing um Josh. Yeah, Josh, right?
Yep. Josh
Yeah,
Horowitz.
sorry. Sorry, it took me a second. I'm like, Josh Horowitz. Yeah. Wow. I don't know why I was a little confused for a second. But no, Josh played
You tired
great.
from last night?
Oh my gosh, yesterday was exhausting. But no, Josh played great. I think this was shot before the New York event. So the next match we see Josh in is going to be where I'm very curious. That next match is going to be so important.
Okay. Uh, the one thing that I will say, and I'll ask you a question off of this. I want to see Perry Nemiroff believe in herself because she obviously knows her stuff and she can get to those answers. I mean, she got the questions that Horowitz didn't know. Uh,
Yep.
Although she dropped 1 or 2 points in round one, I think it's good that we don't constantly see perfect rounds, which is nice to see. However, do you think with her current confidence level and after seeing Josh Horowitz in New York, do you think they'll do well against a Danger Zone or the Untouchables?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I think Josh is going to be on fire. I think a loss was the best thing for Josh. I think that was the absolute best thing that could have happened to Josh. Josh needed a loss because I've noticed with a lot of rookies, when they're on a winning streak, they get in their heads. And so they start thinking, wow, I am great. I can do this. And Josh was new. Josh was first starting to get used to everything. And so Josh needed a good loss because now I don't want to play Josh. I wouldn't want to play Josh now. Josh is going to be a different player next time we see him because he's serious. That when you get your first loss, that's when the game becomes real. That's
Mm.
when everything you realize I'm not as good as I thought I was. It's time for me to put up or shut up.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I will be honest. I almost felt like the and this is completely on me. I felt almost like Josh had spoiled this match when he said that he's out for the year and he had completely forgotten about teams. I thought that was kind of a spoiler in him saying, well, he's lost and this is him done for the year. But I was proven wrong, and I'm glad I did. That was just me in my own head thinking too hard.
No,
But
it's
yeah, uh,
honestly it's easy to. That's the bad part about the Schmoedown. We are the super fans, so we watch everything that we can, and so we
yeah,
look into everything. We listen to everything. We watch everything. There's not a lot of control, and there's a lot of people connected to the Schmoedown that might know information here, or might know something there, and it happens. It's easy to happen. I mean, I thought, what was it? I thought somebody spoiled some. I don't even remember it. It happens. I think stuff gets spoiled sometimes, and I think as fans, we just need to accept that. Just how it
Yeah,
goes.
I agree. Uh, Back to your thing about the storylines. I was going to say something, but I've forgotten. Uh, so yeah. Look. So what do you think? That's what I was going to ask. What do you think about this? Was a concept that myself and someone else were throwing around. Um, I'm not going to out them because I don't know if they want me to out them. But what do you think of them having a separate storyline for Star Wars and Inner Geekdom versus um, singles and teams storylines,
I'm okay with
so
it. They
that
used to do that.
so that people don't have to watch. If new watchers come in, they don't have to watch every single match to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So they can maybe go and say like, okay, I love Inner Geekdom, so I'm going to only watch the Inner Geekdom matches or so on.
Well, the reason why I'm actually okay with that, but you have a problem there. The reason why you can't fully do that like they used to is the faction system. I like the factions, but the factions have in the long run not turned out as well as what they were hoping. Because
Mm,
now, instead of you just watching either, oh, I love the Inner Geekdom matches, I'm keeping with Inner Geekdom. Oh, yep, that Thomas, that's exactly what I was talking about. That was the one that I think everybody was talking about. This was a few months back. Um,
uh, okay.
yeah, it was on the rundown, but it used to be like I used to really majority just watch Inner Geekdom matches when I first started because I liked Inner Geekdom. That was the type of movies I watched, and then I kind of started listening to more singles, but I was really invested in the Inner Geekdom that year, and so having multiple different storylines going on works because it doesn't. You don't have to watch everything. Right
Yeah.
now, I mean, have you seen how many reactions Eli has had to react to over the past year? I feel bad for him sometimes because I think he's over 60. I mean, we got a lot of content on the channel, but he's exhausted.
Mm,
He does a good job. He's just exhausted, but
I
I
can't believe
think,
it.
oh man, he does a good job. He does an absolute good job. He does it every
He
night
does.
they match.
I got to be honest with you. I discovered you guys because of his reaction to Liz Shannon Miller.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's encouraging. I'll have to let him know because sometimes it can get very frustrating reacting every single night, but he does
Mm,
such a good job, and and I mean we've updated that one all the time. But I do think going back to the subject a bit, I agree with you. I think we need to have separate storylines. I think the factions are good, but I think the faction stuff is starting to go downhill.
mm,
I think it's now that they're splitting it up only 5 people in a faction. I could see after next season no longer having factions at all. Like you'll
mm.
have what it used to be, like the Lions Den, like the what was it? Uh, I can't remember everyone else. I
The
think we'll end
original
up back there.
corruption.
Yeah, the original corruption. I think you're gonna start seeing those things again, where because the faction race won't matter because you'll have like random factions popping up and oh we're gonna mess up the points. It's like then the points don't matter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm
It's
afraid it's
basically
gonna
whose
go.
line is it anyway?
Yep. Fight Club. Thank you. That was exactly the one I was.
Yep.
See, this is when we have some of the best fans. But
Absolutely. That's why I love Thomas and Leo.
uh, Leo shows up on our show all the time, especially since we've gone live. And Leo
Oh
is
yeah.
the best. I actually could not go to a
He's
show
such
without him.
an awesome. He's like our resident correction He'll correct us and give us stats. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome. But that's the thing. I think we are getting I think next season might be the last real focus on the factions, and
Yeah.
actually might be better if they go back to how the Fife Club was, like the Lions Den. It's it's probably where things are gonna head. And I know everyone loves the factions. I do. I mean, we do every week manager and player of the week. I mean, that's
I
half our
love
show.
that. Yeah.
I mean, that's half our show. I mean, but I think for the good of the Schmoedown, we're gonna start seeing that go away.
Which I understand it, but I kind of will miss it.
Well, I think in the long run though, I think even if we lose factions, we're not losing managers. I think every
Yeah.
single player needs a manager, even if it's
Yeah.
just. Do you remember when Laura Kelly came into the Schmoedown when she first started?
I never actually watched her debut, to be honest with you. So you'll have to.
She came in. There was a friend of hers. I think this is how it was. If I'm wrong, please let me know. There was a friend of hers that came in with her as her manager, and she worked with her, and she hyped Laura up because Laura was not a big name yet. So this her friend really hyped her up, and it was great, and that helped her a lot. So I feel like every single player needs a manager of some time, even if it's just one player, one manager. Remember when the Smasher came in with Kaiser? That's how they
Mhm.
came in. It was those two. They were the dynamic duo, and
It honestly
those,
reminded me a little bit of the debut of The Undertaker. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I've heard stuff on it, but I have never fully watched.
Oh
I've never really
man,
watched.
he comes in with this guy that's like uh often like very pink in his face. They call him Brother Love, and like very boisterous guy, and Undertaker just comes out. And you see this girl in the front go, it was
Well,
awesome. But yeah.
the bad part for Smasher is he will not be able to come back the way he was. Before, everyone was afraid of him. I mean, he played incredible, and you were afraid of him. Now, everybody just loves him. I mean, him going through cancer, him being there for everyone being there and showing love to him, and it you his character is going to have to change. He will not be what he used to be because of the love. He can never go heel. I
So
think.
that's
Go ahead.
interesting you say that because I feel like I often draw similarities to him and the Undertaker, and everyone loves the Undertaker. Um, or everyone in the wrestling community loves the Undertaker, but he's switched from heel to face on multiple occasions. Um,
Yeah, but you never had the real world situation of him getting cancer, him fighting cancer, him beating cancer. Now the Smasher is a hero. I mean, you don't you he's the Rock. The Smasher is the
hmm,
Rock now. He was the Undertaker at first, but now he's the Rock. He's lovable. Everyone loves watching him. They cannot wait for him to come back. They will cheer his name. They're gonna cheer
hmm.
Smash Cancer. They will cheer the Smasher. It will be when his first match come. It better be a live event. What the best thing for him to do, the best, most anticipated thing, whoever the champion is, whoever it is, you hear whatever the new theme song is for the Smasher, you're gonna see him walk in. The crowd's going to go wild. They'll be yelling "Smash Cancer." They're gonna go crazy. You cannot make him a heel now. He is loved so
I
much. People care for him so much.
I 100% agree with you for his reintroduction, but if he stays around for a season or two, you could totally turn him heel later on.
Maybe, but the best thing in the world would do is if you had him come in to face Chandru. If Chandru were to be champion and he came
Yes.
in, he would come in as the hero. He would be cheered. People would go crazy. Chandru would be toast because
True.
right now Chandru's in a weird spot in general. I mean, that's a whole other conversation, but that match, when that match happens, I know Christian is going to go crazy. And it's set up
Oh
in the
yeah,
story. Because remember, who was the last one who beat the Smasher?
Chandra for sure. Yeah,
Let me
the
ask you this.
story is there. It's
Do
writing
you
itself.
do you do Smasher as a do you believe that he will come in and have to earn his way to the championship? Or do you give him a title match when he comes in?
Okay, so if Chandra is champion at the time, you give him. If you're going storyline wise, you give him that shot.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing with how they're going with next season. I will say I think we're kind of stuck in a weird spot right now in the Schmoedown where we're kind of going. Everyone is feeling like they're ready for change, but they can't change yet because they have to end the season.
Hmm.
I think everybody. I mean, Christian for sure is ready. I mean, he's talked about it enough. I
He's
mean,
been ready since last year.
oh, he's been telling everybody. I think he could go on if he could come on every after show, he would and tell everyone, "Don't worry, it's gonna change. Don't worry, it's gonna be different."
Yep.
I I am excited to see where it goes. I think it needs a huge start. Like we need a huge boost. I think something that Christian needs to kind of do is maybe get in contact with some of the after shows, and every single after show next season has will get all the competitors they can on their shows. Hype up the next season. Everyone's shows work together. We do a huge hype process where you get everyone back on board. We have so many different fans on all these different channels that like right now. All right, certain point of view is an awesome channel, but they're just Schmoedown, and your channel is just Schmoedown. But like my channel
Yeah.
right now, we're starting to gain people that aren't Schmoedown. They're movie fans, they're trailer reacting fans. We've got to get them
Mm,
over. We've got to get them onto the Schmoedown. That's where Christian needs to hit. So next
yeah.
season, the goal has got to be all right. Let's make people fall in love with us again,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
and it's got to be more than
Okay.
just trivia.
Well, let's get back on track, I think, and hit the danger of delinquency. Dane Murrell versus Lon Harris. So this is Dan Murrell versus Lon Harris. Lon Harris lost. It was down to sudden death. I think he lost by an almost silly animated question by the sounds of their protests. But yeah, um, I don't really know Brad Pitt as a voice actor, but I get it. So what did you think of this match, Luke?
Well, to be completely honest, I've only watched about half of it. I was not able to watch all of it because I was going to watch it yesterday, but I had so much to do. I
Yeah,
honestly, not gonna lie, I'm gonna do DC fandom so differently next year.
I think it's a good idea.
I did not know what I was getting into. That was, I mean, I loved it. I had so much fun, but man, it took me. Oh, I was so exhausted yesterday afternoon and trying to get it all together. So I know Dan
Then you
won.
don't know the controversy over the multiple choice then.
No, no, what happened? Like I
Okay.
don't know what happened.
So what happens is they get to round one. So round one happens, right? Dan Murrell misses the last question in round one. I think it was the last one. Um, Lon Harris goes perfect, hits the bonus, so he's up two, right?
Mhm.
Then um, they go into their spins. Dan Murrell spins coming of age. He goes to multiple choice once, I think, and gets it. And then he then goes to Lon Harris. Lon Harris spins Batman. He gets three questions in Batman, like the Batman Forever, I think it was.
Yeah. Eli told me that part.
Oh, sorry. Dan spun classics. I apologize. He spun away from coming of age. I apologize. Then he hit the last question, which was who composed the who did the composition for Batman? It was 1989 or something like that. And he said Jerry Gold. He looked at Dan, and Dan knew the answer. And he said, "I can see Dan knows the answer, and I feel like I'm going to feel stupid when I hear the answer, but I'm going to say Jerry Goldsmith." Now, if he had gone to multiple choice, he would have been down. He would have been up one, and he would have won at the end of the match. But he had already gone down. Sorry, Batman Forever. I do apologize. So yeah. Yes, and Elliot Goldenhall was the answer. So, and Dan Murrell gave the right answer, making them equal going into round 3. They both missed their 5, I believe, which, hey, I believe this is Matt. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
So, yeah. So, yes. And that means that they then hit sudden death. I'm sorry I'm spoiling this for you, but this basically means...
I already knew the results. Eli had already talked to me about it earlier.
All right.
I'd heard some of it. I hadn't watched it.
So this basically means that had he not gone to multiple choice, he would have won the match, and we would have seen him versus either Janine or sorry.
No, you're good.
Would have seen him versus Janine or Mike Kalinowski.
I cannot wait to that match.
That's the one that I'm most hyped for, to be honest with you. But
yeah, that's gonna be
since he didn't go to multiple choice, there's been a whole lot going on in the group. He should have gone to multiple choice. Managers should teach their players when to go to multiple choice. When is it good to go to multiple choice? When is it not good to go to multiple choice? So I just wanted to get your point of view on that.
Here's the thing. I actually understand where Lon was coming from. I think Lon, in the moment, it all goes down to how much you trust yourself or not. It all goes down how much you trust yourself. Lon normally makes these type of mistakes a lot. Lon is really bad about that. I like Lon a lot. Lon's a good player. Lon's not the player that is the most trustworthy in these moments. Lon makes really weird mistakes. And sometimes it's due to his character, and sometimes it's just he wasn't thinking fully in the moment. I personally, I think Lon should be on a different faction. Because I think Lon... I mean, seriously, like, and Winston is amazing. I think Winston is a great manager. But sometimes I think Winston lets Lon be Lon.
Mm-hmm.
Lon's needing somebody to get him in shape. He needs someone to get him more serious in the game.
He needs someone like a Roxy.
Oh yeah, Lon and Roxy would be incredible. Like, honestly, if Roxy had Lon, oh my goodness, that would be a dream. And that's what Lon needs. Lon needs someone serious, someone who's going to get him back in the game, even in those losses. Like right
Mm.
now, I think Lon. Like, let me ask you this: do you even know who Lon's character is now? Is he still the delinquent?
Yes, at the moment he is personally. He is a delinquent. He has shown earlier on, I think, when they were going more into storylines, but gave up on it. He was going into like more of the professor phase, like he was coming out of his delinquency. But I think they dropped that due to them dropping most all storylines.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with this season. I think you do need the storylines. I really do. The Schmoedown's strength
Mm.
comes from storylines because then when you kind of drop them, then by the middle of the season, you're like, why am I invested in this? Like, why am I
Mm.
invested in watching match after match after match after match?
I know why I am.
You're
I
in
want
for
to
the
see
trivia. You're
the
in for the
trivia,
people.
and I want to see Koi become manager of the year.
Always got some competition on that one.
He does. He does.
I'm sadly, I'm afraid. Well, I'll say this: Koi is at the top. Koi's up there, but Shannon's got it pretty high right now. I would not put it past Shannon. Because Shannon, remember, she was at the bottom again and just worked
Mhm.
her way up. And I mean, getting Marisol in that trade like she did made him, made him great. It not made him great. It was a great trade. Wow, that took me a
Yeah.
second. Um, I think Shannon right now has the highest chance because of what she did with Marisol, how much she gave up for Marisol. Adam Witt, Manager of the Year. I just think that's
I
funny.
like that. I like that.
I just think that's so funny. I think that's why I don't put Kaiser in that ranking, which is sad.
Mm.
I don't. I mean, I really like Kaiser, and if you didn't have the whole Adam Witt having to play, it's the same for Gucci. Gucci is when he's managing, he's done a good job. But since he can't be there for every match and every time he has to switch
Has
up,
he
who's
though?
gonna do what?
I said, has he though?
Well, he's there. No, I do think Gucci is
Yeah, I think he has.
for
But I'm
this
just teasing
season.
because we have a thing on our show.
He's done better this season than last season. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just it looks bad for a manager not being able to be there for every match, and I think that's one reason why having so many matches is so hard on managers. Because I mean,
Hmm.
think of trying to find time for all of that. I know I couldn't make time to be at every single one of those matches.
Mm.
I mean, so the fact that Koi is between Koi and Shannon, yeah, yeah, I agree, Ryan.
Yeah.
I think Shannon. I Between Koi and Shannon right now, I would give it to Shannon. Koi's up
Hmm.
there. I love Koi. I mean, honestly, Koi is actually one of the reasons why I stayed in the Schmoedown. One of the first ever YouTube channels I really actively watched was Marvel Movie News, and then I got into DC Movie News after that. And Koi was my favorite person to watch. I remember I absolutely geeked out back then because I was in college and it was my birthday, and messaged or I sent a tweet or I did something to Marvel Movie News for them to wish me a happy birthday. And I flipped when they wished me a happy birthday because back then I didn't really know
Nice.
much about the YouTube channels or anything. I never thought I'd be at this point in general, like actually being able to, like, I still fan out and go crazy on the fact that I am able to have conversations about this sport and actually talk to people who are in it. That's
Mm.
not something I ever saw myself doing. I always thought I would just be a spectator, not this. This is incredible to me. I still am in awe, especially for everyone who has been on this journey with us at the Galaxy Geeks. Like, it really has been an awe-inspiring thing.
It has. It really
So,
has.
Where
So
next do you
yeah,
want to go?
let's go to promo of the week. So I don't know if you watched the Lon Harris Dan Merle promo yet.
No, I focused on the main one. I put a lot of focus on was the Star Wars one.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about that one? Because
Yes.
that one was my promo of the week, but I'll let you talk about that one because that's the
Well,
one.
thanks, Suge. Suge's the best.
Thanks, Chuck. Love ya.
Suge's Suge's just making me try and feel better because I didn't get him on my show yesterday.
I see this.
But no, honestly, I have noticed, and it might just because they can be a little bit more experimental with them. I think the Star Wars promos a lot of times are the best promos.
Mhm.
They get into it. They get so focused on the Star Wars side of it all. They can be so creative and different with it that I honestly think most weeks when you have a Star Wars promo, unless it's a big championship, like honestly
Yeah.
that Marisol promo, I think that's the best promo all year. But this one was good.
There's one more that I think beats it for me, but yeah, uh, I
I don't
get your
know.
point. So for that Star Wars one, my favorite part was just the history from last year when we saw the Molly Damon promo when she faced Adam Witt, where she was turning to the dark side, to where we saw the introduction of Molly Damon, to them both on talk shows, and even Molly Damon calling Alex a coward was wow, fantastic. But yeah, I just love that promo.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
I think second for me is probably the Dan Merle on Harris promo.
Hmm.
I think it was just fantastic. The music was awesome. Um, kind of showed the history between the two. Didn't really, because I think Lon Harris's delinquency um, didn't really touch much onto the actual match. They didn't really touch onto that. But I think that would have been awesome if they could have done that. But it was definitely an awesome promo.
I think the reason why the Alex versus Molly promo was so good, and this is another reason why I would have had Molly Alex match that Friday. I mean that you should like. I know they weren't going to have a pay per view this week, but you can still even smaller matches like this, and I don't even consider it smaller matches. You can put some hype behind it.
Oh yeah.
And like Thomas is right. Molly took man shots at Alex on POV. Too bad they didn't use much of any of that. Yeah, that would have been funny.
That's
But
true.
they're able to do so much with you cared about that promo because you care about the two people. You know their relationship. There is a storyline without being a storyline. It's
Mm-hmm.
a married couple. It's two people that they're going to play and there's going to be a story behind it because who's sleeping on the couch this week?
I mean,
So that
Alex even touched on it in the thing where he said he bought himself a nice couch just in case.
well, I mean that's why there's story behind it. That's why you care about the promos. Like Nerdcomic does a incredible job, and his
Oh
best
yeah.
promos are when there is a story behind it. The reason why I put Marisol's promo so high this year because I still hear in my head bend the knee. I love that line from her, and I'm so gonna do a poster for it.
So there's one promo that beats it for me, and so far because I still need to go back and see some of them. The one that comes to mind that beats it for me was the one Ethan Irwin versus Marisol McKee, because her
Hmm.
standing out in the outside saying all her accomplishments with that sword, who she's beat. That was just fantastic. And that for me puts it above. I know that Bend the Knee was chills down the spine, but that for me is just that story is just fantastic, and I'm a sucker for that. So
I don't
yeah.
know. I love the story around the whole idea of Chance versus Marisol. The fact that they are on the same team together. The fact that Chance has
Mm,
been working up. I mean, here's the thing: that match, no one knew who to root for because Marisol, she's the first woman champion, uh, first singles woman champion. She's the
mhm,
first. I mean, and so her defending that puts her in a league that no female competitor in singles have ever done. I think that, and the fact that Chance was coming up to get his final belt when because he's been wanting that belt so badly. That's his goal, is to get the belt. And so I felt the storyline behind all of that was why the bend in the promo was so incredible.
mm, fair enough. Ryan gives an interesting point, and then I want to touch on Thomas's point. He thinks that the upcoming promo for Danger Zone versus the Untouchables will be up there for promo of the week. Wonder if he has some backstage knowledge that we don't. But
Yeah.
it could. However, I do see his point because Ben and Paige's history is in there, and it's the second tournament where they're facing each other. I had forgotten about that. Nice point,
How
Ryan.
how how angry do you think Ben's going into this match?
He's going to be on fire.
Yeah. I I
uh,
think yeah, Molly's gonna
I,
get matches. Molly is
yeah.
so low. Here's the thing with the Schmoedown. Um, records matter. Yes, records do matter, but the character and who they are matter more. Like,
Mm,
all right, at Adam Witt. Witt's Star Wars playing was not the best. His record didn't show much, but his yeah, oh 3-0 or 4-0.
cool.
4-0. And so, but the thing that got Wit in with the fans and got him over, that's the whole thing with Schmoedown. How do we get people over? What did it for him was being a manager. Him coming in to help Kaiser in one match. It Everyone's like, wow, Wit's such a good manager. Wow. And so Wit could never come back in the Schmoedown and make a wave, but he can make waves as a manager. And so
Mhm.
that's what you have to look at in the Schmoedown. You've got, um, I mean, like most Star Wars competitors, ha- their record fully doesn't matter because it matters on the character. Molly is loved by everyone. Everyone loves Molly. POV, I mean, that's the reason why POV is doing incredible, is because Molly came on. They have great guests. I always praise POV because of how awesome they are to most channels. Um, and so Molly brings a character with her and a love for the game. And so Molly will stay in the Schmoedown for good.
Also, Julie Marie is just fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's that whole team has done really well,
They are
and that's just
awesome. They are. If I could get them on this show, I would be fangirling from start to finish. I promise you. So
we've talked
I
we've
think,
had Jake. We've had Jake on the show, on our show. We interviewed him one week, and Jake's
yeah,
incredible. Jake is
he is.
absolutely incredible. I
He was the
it
first person I reached out to in the community, and he was more than willing to help out.
Oh yeah,
And
he's
I love,
helped me a lot.
I love the community. I must be honest.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah. So,
second is always Suge. Suge's always just there for everybody.
oh yeah, yeah. But Suge, I mean, he's so chill that I won't really fangirl over him. I'll just be. He's like a friend. You know. You just like you see him as a buddy. I see him as like a pal. So it's like I can have a beer with him. With someone from POV, I'll be like, I'm too scared to have a beer. I'll go and have a water somewhere.
So where are we going next?
Prediction time. So
Oh,
I
fine.
know, you might not
No, I can
be
predict. I can predict. I just gotta make sure Eli doesn't watch this.
fantastic. Okay. Just for our regular fans, I just want to let them know how the race for the crown is stacking up. So we have Liam with 87, Matt with 88, Teresa at the top with 89, and me, thanks to this last week, definitely at the bottom for the rest of
Ugh.
the year with 73.
Ugh.
So, yeah, I've had a few bad weeks. Uh,
Hey, I cannot say anything. I have done horrible this year. I don't even know where I'm at. Like Eli keeps up with the points. He might just be tricking me, like giving himself points. I don't even know because I can't keep up with
I
it.
think you should go back and just make sure.
No, it's our stipulation is I'm taking whoever wins pays for the other one's Spider-Man tickets.
Fair enough.
But
I think
this one thing that does save me though is I think spectacular is going on around the time of Spider-Man, so he might be gone that week.
nice. Okay, fair enough. Just want to. So we are going to do the Laura Kelly versus Gold Leader match. I just want to grab my phone so I can say who everyone else picked. I apologize for the dizziness I might have given people. Okay, so Gold Leader versus Laura Kelly. Do you want to give who you picked? Who you pick in this one?
Honestly, for this week, it might be one of my hardest ones to pick. I I'm gonna go with the I'm going with Gold Leader. I I just have a good feeling about Gold Leader this season. After really talking to him and getting to know him, and he reaches out to us and talks to us a lot, and just the interactions and how on fire he is, and just storyline wise, how awesome would it be for Gold Leader to come in, win the tournament, and play Thomas for championship? That would be incredible. So
Yeah,
I've
it
got to
would.
go with Gold Leader.
Uh, Gotta be honest with you. Uh, Everyone else went with Gold Leader too.
Yeah.
And okay, to be honest with you, this match is pulling me apart because heart wise, I really want Laura Kelly to win, but I don't want to drop any further. And every time in the Star Wars division, I've picked a female to win, I've cursed them somehow. So I'm going to pick uh, Gold Leader to win as well, even though I'm going to be cheering on Laura Kelly. And if she wins, kicking myself.
Other than the last match this week, I think this might be one of the biggest matches this week.
Yeah.
I
Then we got, except for this next one, Danger Zone
Yeah.
versus the Untouchables. Dan Murrell, Ben Bateman versus Drew McQueenie, Paige Fabretti. For the storyline alone, could be fantastic.
So who you going with?
Okay, I'll give Teresa's first. It was Danger Zone. Matt also went with Danger Zone. Liam, however, went with uh, the Untouchables, which was very surprising to me. Um, and then I am going to go with Danger Zone as well. I I'm not sure how invested in how good Drew McQueenie is at this point. That's my only kind of nervousness about this team. Yourself?
I'm going danger zone. I agree with you. Paige scares me. Paige is such
Yeah.
a anomaly. I mean, she really is. Paige is such an anomaly in a good way. She plays a different kind of game than most people do. She's very she's gone over with the fans. Paige, it every after show loves Paige. There, I think our two shows might be the only two shows that she's not been on yet.
Oh yeah.
I, I mean, I think the only reason why she's not been on ours is just because we haven't reached out to her yet.
Same.
I mean,
Uh, that might be a little bit my fault, but yeah.
it's for sure ours because what we do is we try to interview like one person a month, and I just haven't had time to
Mm,
really get a guest together yet. But I think Paige is scary because we saw in that last match, Paige is someone who you do not know what Paige you're getting, and she's on fire right now. But you're right, Drew McQueenie's matches have been weird. But
mm,
if I'm gonna say anything, these two teams are the most two similar teams I have ever seen. Like Paige and Ben are very similar. I would
mm.
say Ben is an older version of Paige when it comes to Schmoedown. Paige
I mean,
gets under. I mean,
like Ryan
Paige tries.
said,
As long as Paige doesn't get in Ben's head, I will go danger zone. Yeah, I agree. Like Paige is getting into that Ben Bateman mindset. The best team we would ever see, though, a action guys part two would be Paige and Ben Bateman.
oh yeah.
I don't know how good they would be at team wise, but that would be the most heelish. I think that would be action guys part two. I think you would have the action guys in the form of Paige and Ben. That would be the team. That would be a very heelish team. It would be a fun team. So Christian, Paige, and Ben, if you are ever watching this video,
That would be interesting.
it really would. But in this match, I mean, they're very similar. Like Drew McQueenie is a
Thomas is on board.
yes, but Drew McQueenie is a really good team player. He's really good. I compare him to Ben or to Dan. Those two are very similar in their knowledge base.
Mm,
So I'm going danger zone, but I'm not going to say that the Untouchables will not win because
yeah.
they're we have to see their first match. That first match is going to really show what kind of team they are. They almost feel my fear on that team is they almost feel like a team that was thrown together because Paige is starting to really move up and they did not want to split up lightning time.
Mm.
And I
Why
think
would they
that's my
have to
biggest
though?
fear. Do what?
Why would they have to split up lightning time?
Well, I'm not saying split them up. I'm saying since Paige is probably one of the top players on the Usual Suspects, also Drew McQueen is as well. They almost feel like, oh, who's our 3 and 4 players? Paige and
Mm,
Drew McQueen. Let's put them together as a team. So that
yeah.
scares me when it comes to a team. Like you want, and that's one reason why I think Danger Zone had actually struggled as much as they have this season because they're not meshing as well as other teams have. They're two incredible players, but they're similar in their knowledge base.
Yeah, but I don't think they as thrown together as Drew McQueenie and Paige Fabretti were
No,
in that
no,
regard.
but that's also due to the fact of with Danger Zone, they weren't thrown together, but the whole idea was, all right, let's get the two best players on the same team, and we'll make a
Yeah.
major, massive team. And a lot of times recently, that doesn't work. Like
I
teams is
guess
so interesting.
I guess that's why on Rundown when that happened, Frankie said like uh, Christian has a history of not really Christian's a bit nervous of super teams, but yeah, I mean, as you say, they haven't really been. I mean, they got to number one contendership. To be fair,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean,
look at it
the
this way. Look at Corruption. Corruption is not a super team, not in
mm,
teams. Corruption has Chance, who's an incredible player. He's a great teams player. And you have Mike, who's a good player. Mike is a really good player. But when it
mm,
comes to like singles, he has struggled in singles, but he hasn't in teams because they build each other up. They work together very well. I worry for next season because I feel like Chance is leaving Corruption and Mike needs someone like a Chance.
mm.
And
I mean,
that's
he still has inner geekdom. Don't forget about that.
no, I know that. Like, I'm just saying, like in the team, yeah, Mike's gonna do great
Yeah,
in Air Geekdom in general. Mike is back in Air Geekdom, and that's been
yeah.
a great showing. But in teams, it all matters. I think we'll see Bateman and Oyama team next year. Maybe. I wouldn't be shocked on that. But I am very curious to see where that goes.
I think on that, Ryan, I think you'll break some hearts if that happens, especially in this channel's history of where we want to see Oyama go.
Well, honestly, though, with Ben needs honestly he needs a page. He needs
Mm,
someone where his strategy. He's a good strategist, but he needs someone to distract the other competitors. The reason why the
mm,
action guys were as good as what they were was because Andrew Guy would get in the other people's head, and Ben was the more quiet one who would get the points. They worked well together because one was the distraction and the other one played the game. And I mean, Andrew Guy was a great player. I'm not saying he wasn't, but his whole thing was getting in the player's head. And
mm,
that's what Ben needs. Ben does not need to be Andrew Guy. And I think that's what he has done in the past couple seasons. He is trying to be Andrew Guy. He's trying to be the heel. He's trying to trying to get in people's head as being a heel. But that was
mm,
Andrew. Ben was more the calculating one. He's the one in the background. He would do the antics with Andrew, but Andrew was the heel. But Ben with a page, what you do is you have Ben look like the mentor to Paige. Paige becomes more heel like. She starts picking up things from Ben, and she becomes the distraction. And that's a dangerous team. Ben and
yeah,
Oyama's not going to work. Ben Oyama would be the exact same team as Danger Zone. I mean, the same team.
fair enough.
It's
Yeah,
Oyama would
yeah.
be the more of a quiet guy. He's a lot like Dan. They play a lot like each other, and so you're not going to have a scary team with a Oyama and Ben Bateman.
Mm. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Del Rio versus James White. So Teresa chose Del Rio. Um, Liam chose Del Rio, but Mattia went with James White.
Hmm.
Now, my heart isn't really in this one, but I want to see the person that beat my favorite competitor at least give a showing. So, Del Rio, you better win. I'm picking you. What
I'm going
about
Del
you,
Rio.
Lee?
I'm going Del Rio. Del Rio impressed me his last match. I really
Yep,
enjoyed Del Rio. I think he's getting better. I think he can really do a character. I mean, he's a great actor in general. I saw him in shows
yep.
when I was younger. So I think Del Rio could be a really good player.
Everyone's picking Del Rio.
Well, it's
Makes
also
sense.
because if you notice, most people don't have a real they have a weird feeling around James White. James White really doesn't have a massive character that people are getting around. Del Rio has this underdog story where he was traded away, where he's coming back because they got rid of him. And James White doesn't have that story. James White was just like, I was in the fan leagues and then I moved up.
Do you think that's really his fault, though? I mean, he hasn't been given much of an opportunity to build a character.
Well, it's it's in a weird spot. I think with James White, he's trying and he's getting better and he's playing better, but he James White needs to be a heel. I think James White needs to go down the heel route. I think he needs to become like a Chandra. If James White
He's been
became a,
trying. To be fair.
I mean, that's kind of where he needs to go. He needs to go down the heel
Mm.
route. He needs to become so hate and be okay with it. Like a good heel is okay with being hated. Andrew Guy did really well with that. If James White became a massive heel, and for some reason you just have this feeling he could be a heel. If James White became a heel, then you're going to see a lot more people wanting to watch a James White match. Right
Yeah.
now, he's not a heel. He's not a babyface. He's not really anything. He's just playing the matches. He's just doing the trivia. And most players like that, unless there's a story around them, people don't want to watch. Like Del Rio has not really brought much quote unquote character. I mean, he's brought some, but the reason why everybody wants to watch Del Rio is because he's got an underdog story. He was
Mm.
traded away from by the Den, and he's coming back and playing and showing off how good he is and showing up the Den messed up. I mean, so
True.
it
Yeah.
might. I mean, this might have been the biggest mistake the Den ever did.
I mean, I kind of feel like they were forced into that position, but yeah, I get it.
So sorta like
So yeah, let's go to the pay-per-view. Rick Radis versus Frankie Alvarez. So this is one where I'm going to differ from everyone else because everyone else went with Rick the Rager Radis. However, I watched a certain show called Spin from the Reel, and on that show there was a guy called Frankie Alvarez playing as Rick Radis's alter ego. And Rick Radis came on and threatened Frankie's family, which means that Frankie is out for blood. So I'm picking Frankie Alvarez.
ah,
I know
this
it was a
one's
skit.
hard.
I'm playing it
This
to the character.
this is hard. This is really hard because Rick Radis has, for one thing, he's been. If anyone can become the heel, I think Rick Radis is moving up there, and Frankie is doing the same things. Like Rick to me. I mean, did you see where he took over Frankie's Twitter?
I saw that.
That was awesome. I mean, the storyline between those two is just great. I mean, they're just great. They're fun to watch. They're they are really bringing a lot to this match. I think they're actually more anticipated than the actual the title match. I mean, the title match is huge, but I think the undercard might be even bigger because let's be honest, Amaru and Mike are not going after each other right now. Amaru is just, Amaru's not a heel. I mean, he's a good player and he's great and he's new to the game and he's playing great, but he's just new to the game. Mike's really
Mhm.
not throwing shade at him right now. He's not really showing much shade. So maybe more as the week goes on. But the Rick Radis Frankie Alvarez feud has been weeks. Match has been being set up for weeks. I mean, I
Months even.
want I want to see Frankie Alvarez win, but I've got to go with Rick Radis. It
Fair
pains
enough.
me, but I got to go with Rick.
Everyone else says Frankie on our chat, so I'm glad I'm
Oh, I
not
cannot
alone.
wait. I cannot wait for that promo. That promo is going to be so good.
I think that's gonna be promo of the week next week. Just calling it there. Okay. Mike Kalinowski versus Amaru Moses. I just want to see just to confirm, but I think yep, everyone went Mike, and I'm not going to be the one that chooses any different. I'm going Mike too. I don't doubt him in any geekdom. Don't get me wrong, Amaru could take him to heights that he's never been before, but I this year watching how on point Mike Kalinowski's been, I just can't doubt him. I don't doubt Maru either, but I don't doubt Mike more. So, how about you?
I'm going Mike. I mean, Mike's the easy choice. I mean, Mike's playing a different game. Amaru is a good player. Amaru's a very good player. But his last match, he didn't have to prove himself. I mean, he really
Yeah.
didn't. His last match was against Saul.
Yeah.
Saul played horrible that match. I mean, and so
Yeah.
I mean that was just a bad match for Saul. I hate it. I hate it for Saul. I actually really enjoy Saul. Saul just played a bad match against Amaru, and Amaru has not played in a bit. I love Amaru. Honestly, I mean Amaru's watched our show, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. I actually really am. I'd love to see Amaru really bring it. It's just Mike is just playing a different game. Mike is scary. I mean, look what he did against Chandru. I mean, that was embarrassing for Chandru.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta go with Mike. I'll say storyline wise, if I were Christian, if Amaru wins, Chandru plays Mike. If Mike wins, you don't give Chandru Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't. No, I don't think like. Let me ask the people in the chat: do y'all want to see Mike play Chandru again?
That'll
That's
be his
right
third
for.
defense.
I mean, right for spectacular. Like, I feel better if you're seeing the storyline wise. If you had Amaru play Mike, Amaru wins, then Amaru lose to Chandru. Think of the storyline between Parker and Chandru. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. That's a cool storyline. But I feel more comfortable if Chandru were to play Amaru over Mike. But just with how Mike's playing, I've got to lean towards Mike.
Here we go. I don't know. It's too soon, and to be honest, no.
I think that's where everyone's kind of getting at. But I think that's why at the live event, if you notice, they have not officially said this match is going to happen. They've also not officially said the Roka match is going to happen either. And so I think could we have
What
a triple
about this?
threat? No, I don't think you're going to see a triple mate. I don't know. I don't know if you're going to fully do a triple threat because then you're in the same position of no one thinks Chandra deserves this chance. I mean, they just don't. And I think people feel more would like watching Amaru and Chandra play because they've never played versus Mike just having to play him, just beat him again. I mean, it just would be, it just doesn't feel good. I don't know. I just have a weird feeling about Chandra and Mike playing again.
Fair enough.
I'd rather,
So you think
honestly.
Mike wins?
Oh, go ahead.
You think Mike wins then?
Yeah, I do. I see. Mike's my favorite interrogation player, hands down. No. Okay, let me reset that. Mike and Mara are my two favorite interrogation players. Mike and Mara go back and forth on my favorite list.
I got to be honest. When it comes to any geekdom, it was it actually is Saul. Second to that is probably Jesse Swift. But hey, that's just me. So that is our show. That is all we have time for, unfortunately. So
You got someone who talks a lot.
Don't worry, I love listening. So I always love listening and talking Schmoedown. So glad we could do it is there anything you wanted to plug or to let people know about?
Well, basically, if you haven't already, tomorrow we're doing our Into the Schmoedown Galaxy. We would love to gain more live chat people. We go live tomorrow at 6 Central Time. If y'all would like to join, we actually have a few of the people in live chat who join all the time, especially Leo. And I I would love for more people to join. We're doing trailer reactions throughout the week because that's really been getting us a lot of views. A lot more people have been coming to the channel because of the trailer reactions. We also just got done yesterday. Matt from Schmoe was on the DC Fandom, like I mentioned earlier, and that was something. So if you want to go watch a almost train wreck, go check that out because it wasn't a train wreck, but it was crazy how I had to maneuver certain things. And at one point, I had to leave my friend here to who's not tech savvy, and and he got cut out, and then it was just the two guests. And so I'm driving on the phone, and I pop in on my phone to get into the video, and it was a day. It was a day.
Nice.
1 a.m. Right? 6 Central in California would be 4 p.m. I do not know what time it would be for you, Ben.
Let me just. I think what would that be? PDT. Sorry.
What would your time be in 3 hours?
In 3 hours, it would be about 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it'd be 1 a.m. for you. So that's when we would go live. Is when it's 1 a.m. for you.
Oh wait, yeah, 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. 1:30, basically. Yeah.
Right now in my
Yeah.
time it is 3:30 right now. So in 3 hours is normally when we would go live on our show. If y'all would want to come check out our channel, we are the Galaxy Geeks channel. We are the only Galaxy Geeks channel, so that's a plus. We have actually been really growing as a channel. Last number we saw, we were at like 347 for subscribers. So that's been incredible. We have had some of the best
Sorry, just
fans.
to interrupt, can you answer Ryan's question as well?
I think Eastern time is what time is it Eastern? Time is 4:35. So it would be 7 o'clock Eastern time.
Okay.
And we do reactions all week long. If y'all would want to join, we try to around 11 o'clock every day after the match. Go have a reaction to that match, and Eli does an incredible job with reactions, and we would love to gain more people watching the matches with us and reacting with Eli. So if y'all would want to do that and maybe wait before watching the match and jump on with him, it's always fun. But other than that, I mean, we do movie reviews too. I mean, we're just a bunch of geeks trying to move it up in the world.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, thank you so much to Luke for joining our show today. Thank you to Luke. To Thomas, Leo, Ryan, Jay, everyone that's joined today. Thank you to Shug, Justin Square, even everyone that's joined today in the comments. If I didn't see you, I'm sorry. There's a lot of people today that have been commenting. It's awesome to see. If you have any advice, if you have anything you'd like to see on our show, please comment down below so we can take it under advisement, and we'll probably do so. Thank you to Luke for making our logos look nice as well. It's awesome. So thank you for that.
When are you gonna change that profile photo?
I kind of we'll talk about that. Yeah. So yeah. Then just to say, I would like to just say thanks to everyone, and I hope you guys have a good week and enjoy the Schmoedown. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. It really helps. So thanks everyone. See you guys soon.